spirits of the Nephilim, the ancient ones.
Hello and welcome to the Blue Post Roundup. This week was a little bit late because I took a little vacation with the wife, unplugged a little bit, get away from everything. But I am back and here we go. I'm going to catch up on the many Blue posts over the last weekend, and we'll start right here. The first one is actually about who is Travis Day. And this is actually pretty cool because he just kind of came on with a whole bunch of really well written responses that the Diablo 3 community is appreciating, along with myself and a lot of other podcasters and website people. And basically he is from the World of Warcraft team. He worked over there. He's been with Blizzard for about the past 8 years. And he moved over to the Diablo team in the background because he's very passionate about the game and wants to make it better, bigger, and make it the best it can be. So going on from there, we'll move on to the tentative patch 1.08 and what's being included, which is we're getting monster density changes, the multi-craft function, and the AH tooltip compare. All three are very welcome. It's nice to just make 20 of these and craft, so you don't have to be there. It's very tedious, very annoying, especially when you're making a whole lot of duels. If you're starting to fill the squares and go all the way up to the marquees, you just hit make 50, 54, whatever numerical value you need, and just walk away, do something else, and it's done quickly. Mob density they actually had from about a patch or two ago now, and they finally figured out how they're going to do it, and they're going to do it with Acts 1, 2, and 4. Using Act 3 is kind of like a base value versus kind of going from Act 1 to Act 4. It's going to kind of average it out, which is good. And lastly, the Age Tooltip Compare. I don't know why they didn't have it in from the beginning. I knew I was making issues and complaints about it while in beta when we got the auction house there testing for a little bit, because it's very hard if you're in the auction house, unless you're going to go use a spreadsheet or independent website, to get that base value of is that 1 or 2 attack speed to make a break on an item, especially when you're plopping down a few million gold, if not tens, if not hundreds of millions of gold, and you don't really have the knowledge to use spreadsheet, or you don't really understand how to use the websites. So they should be in there, especially because that's a very casual friendly thing in there, and they didn't have it from the beginning. So the next loot post information is going on to the Inferno. It's actually still dealing with bomb density. We got a clarification that it's going to be only in Inferno, so it's not going to be in normal, nightmare, and hell difficulties, which I feel is valid, because you're still learning the game in normal, and you're still learning how to apply the runes, while most players who have already reached 60 multiple times be why not and everything. But you know what, you're going to be spending a lot of your time, in fact all your endgame time, in Inferno, and it just makes it easier for the developers to get it done. So why not? You're going to be in Inferno anyways, so just do it for that difficulty. That's why you're not ramping up the other difficulties and making them a little harder, especially with, you can already make it harder with the monster power system. So I feel it's fine the way they're doing it. The next blue post is that they are thinking about how to improve co-op, basically how to help improve efficiency, and it's kind of just running wheel of what we were seeing in beta and in the release of even people just leaving to identify all their items in town and sell it. Could be make or break a group. So kind of go back to like the Roderick Cube, the Cauldron, those items that we were going to have on a character that would be break everything down while we were in the field, but they wanted us to go back to take a break from the action. Now they're kind of saying, you know what, we don't want you to take a break from the action. We understand how that could be annoyance for groups and co-ops, so we want to try to give you more efficiency while you're in it. So it's kind of coming full circle almost, with that acknowledgement and how to make co-op games faster and just more enjoyable from that standpoint. The moving on, we move to the do-it-yourself legendaries. Well, that's what I'm calling it. There was a post about people just coming up with ideas for new legendaries because of the ideas they're coming up with the Ether Real Boots or the orb that would let you cast 2 Hydras. Just those simple basic ideas that were in the itemization post we'll get to in a little bit. And there's a post that I will link to in the description that you can go in there, make your own little suggestions, and they may take a few, they may use as almost like a base, and they'll tweak it to what they need to do. And that's very cool. Get your ideas in. Maybe they'll keep the name, maybe they'll keep the name and item and all the affixes. Very cool. And going on from there, sticking with legendaries, but moving on to paths for XP or item hunting. They're actually trying to think of different ways of doing those paths and try to breed them and try to focus you into not just doing Act 3, but hey, go to Act 2 or go to Act 1 for this particular boss, or for that with targeted legendaries as far as mini bosses, new bosses they may come up with, or the Act bosses. So I think that's very cool because it helps diversify the game, because if you know you can get a Manticore, say, off of Asmodeon, you can go after him, or if you go after the Butcher for the Butcher Sickle, these things make more sense, and it diversifies the game, and it helps you feel like you're playing more of just the game than just Act 3 and Inferno. So I feel that's a very cool idea. They should really go ahead for it, and these types of systems can actually branch out with expansions and just with general core systems to begin with. Alright, and the last one we'll touch on is the itemization post itself. That came out on Tuesday, it was, and it's actually very nice. Sipco and myself, we did about almost 2-hour podcast on the developer journal itemization update, as well as Guso's response that I don't want to say it didn't encourage this, but kind of, I guess, maybe sped it up by a day or two as far as a response from Travis Day. And we knew this was coming almost as a result of his response to Guso's Dred. It's actually very cool. I like all the points that are in there. They're all very logical. A lot of people are like, okay, this is another good step where patch 1.07 with the BOAs and all the amount of class tweaks, even though there still are more that are needed. It was a good first step. It seems patch 1.08, along with the itemization update they're planning on doing, is going to be the next good step. And so as they keep that going, I feel it will be good for the game. It'll help it encourage people to come back, and it will show that they really are turning this thing around patch by patch. Just a few things to mention. The rarity equals power. Love that. It should always have been that way. Legendary stat ranges, we all know it sucks. I mean, even for the rares, just going up and down in ranges, 300, 400 damage when it sucks. If you can't use that at 60, it's not viable. Even if you roll a 2-socket Manticore and it's 900, yeah, it's feasible, but compared to some of the 1300-1400s that are out there, it's crazy. So I like everything in there. Hopefully they get it all in for the patch 1.08. It may not happen, they've said that, but because they're still in the development process of the patch itself, so we're getting like an extra early sneak preview of everything that's going in there. So it's very cool, like everything, and hopefully we'll see a lot more progress in the coming week. We'll get more answers, more questions, and we'll go from there. So that does it. A little late, but a lot of blue posts to go through. And as always, like, comment, subscribe, and catch it again next Friday for the next Blue Post Roundup. Bye.